Hey guys, Analogman here for another different type of video. We are looking at the brand new restricted list that just came out at like 4 a.m. in the freaking morning. I'm now recording this at like 9 a.m. in the morning because I needed to fucking sleep basically. I basically discussed it with a lot of people on the Discord specifically about what happened with the list. Um, but we got a pretty wild list. That's like the best way to genuinely describe it. Um, so my predictions, thankfully, Analog Man did not get hit, but we got some worse things coming back. So let's actually look at it first. Okay, so first, you can find it on the official website already, so that's pretty good already. So first off, some of the restricted cards may be removed from the list, and the two that they did, one of them is fine because literally every deck can destroy it now. The other one is going to create a ton of problems that we're going to be dealing with all the way up to BT15. So let's actually look at it first. Okay, so first off, the one of the first cards to get restricted to one will be the starter deck 6 Gabumon. This is from like the original purple starter deck. I know exactly why they hit this. As you can see right here, it says when attacking, trigger, draw one. It is not once per turn, and I've actually been testing this card, and I'm honestly surprised they haven't errated it until now. This card is actually really broken because you can trigger so many. Like if Wergarurumon from the new starter deck unsuspends, you can use this effect twice, and if he survives too. So you're guaranteed two discards and draws. So pretty broken. I can see why they hit it because purple is basically the dominant deck in BT14. Well, not BT14, but EXO5 and or EXO4, whatever the set with the Garurumon, the new Garurumon stuff. That in that format, it's basically mostly purple dominated, and in BT15 as of right now with Apoclymon, it's also using purple. Same with Anubismon, Beelstar, and Guru, they all use the purple base, so I can totally understand why they hit this. So yeah, and then of course along with that the starter deck one, we're also hitting. They actually gave an explanation. Basically, they were talking about how a Digimon with effects that can attack in succession are able to send target cards to the trash. They didn't want to say where Garuru, but we all know they meant Garuru. And of course, the Gabu X that they fucking included with the starter deck when you buy it, giving it an extra search made it way too broken. Yeah, I mean, they kind of knew it because they gave it to us, but whatever. Then they're also hitting BT to Gabumon because, of course, on deletion, draw two, discard one. This one's been a staple in almost every purple deck since it came out because it just gets you so many draws. So obviously reason, they're like, oh, it's very versatile, exchange cards is a good level 3 source, and it's too powerful, and that's basically why. And then this is where I'm like, why did you hit this and not the other card? So they're hitting Geo Gray because so this explanation is really weird. It's the fact that it allowed them to turbo out Marcus's too fast, and I'm like, dude, just hit Marcus because Marcus is still giving free Evos. And not only that is apparently not only does Shine use this, but apparently Yellow Vaccine, as in the Angemon deck, also uses this because it allows them to kind of check the security basically. But at the same time, Patamon already makes this super busted already. So by not hitting Patamon or Marcus, you're basically guaranteeing free Evos now, which is hilariously broken. Honestly, the Geogray, I honestly foresee that's not going to do shit, basically, because the main problem was Marcus BT12 giving free Evos. I don't know what they were thinking. It's whatever. Let's move on. Then they hit EX4 Mach Galgamon. I genuinely don't understand this hit because if whoever has played Mirage knows that basically all three of the ones that you run for the level 5s all do the exact same thing, which is to unsuspend. So this one just has an 8-card specific like requirement, which is super easy to meet. But the other ones, I think, have a different condition, but they still unsuspend the Digimon regardless. So it's like, I'm assuming they just had to hit Mirage because everybody was saying they had to hit Mirage in some capacity. So they're like, fuck it, let's just do it. And I don't see the reason for it aside from the when attacking. Maybe the bouncing, but almost every card bounces in that deck, so it's whatever. Their explanation is pairing this card with the inherent effects of cards such as EX4 Galmon and Galgamon allow for faster devolution to level 6 than predicted, but at the same time they're giving us the training cards in BT14, so I don't know what the hell they're thinking. But yeah. Then of course, another hit that I honestly like, I'm not genuinely surprised, is Scatter Mode. Scatter Mode has been skating by since BT7 when his counterpart Eismon got hit. I was playing the deck where it was Eismon Scatter Mode, specifically with Beelstar, where you would just swarm with Eismons over and over, and I actually used that to beat Jessmon specifically because I would evolve it into a Rebellion, which gave it retaliation and blocker all the time. So because of that, they just could never swing for game, and that was like the main deck that could stop me. But I can see why because of that. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this card was honestly just like, I'm surprised it took them this long. They even say like this card has long been an effective card in decks that utilize trashing, and the fact that they now hit this, like, what, we're in like set fucking 13. It's been 6 sets and they still like it took them this long to do it. But that's also because purple wasn't as strong when it got hit, so I can see why they didn't. But at the same time, it's been there for so long that I'm just kind of surprised they haven't done anything. But yeah, that's basically all the stuff specifically that they've hit to one. Here's where we get into the weird shit. So restricted cards can only include 1 copy, but then they said the ban is lifted on it, so now you can play 4 copies of Savior Huckmon. Whoop-de-doo! We already have a better version now. The only reason is that this one allows it to unsuspend. That's about it. But the problem is that every single deck is going to destroy this deck now. DefX kills it. Freaking Machine Dramon just hard blocks it. Yeah, no, every deck at this point can destroy this completely in like a second. Because it, A, relies on Sistermon summons, and A, swarming the board with Sistermons that can be easily blocked. So the explanation is ridiculous because it's just like, oh, well, it was too effective back then. And yes, it was, but now, releasing it now of all times when the deck is literally like the least played deck in the format, yeah, I don't really think that was a good idea. If they had released this alongside maybe the starter deck, it would have been amazing. It would have made the difference. But now, no. It's way overdue and it doesn't really do anything. The card that is going to basically warp the format is, of course, our boy Tommy. Our boy Tommy somehow rose from the dead, because I made a freaking meme of this, of like the Green Arrow meme of the guy doing the peace sign in front of the grave for this guy. Nah, he's back. He somehow came back from the dead. This guy, I love their explanation. This is insane. In past environments, when this card was widely used, the on-play was a factor that allowed decks to use hybrid cards as the main cards to immediately attack. Even among hybrid decks, blue hybrid prevented attacking and blocking, and however, in recent game environments, there's been an increase in cards that can counter this. Okay, to be fair, there are decks that can counter this. While discussing with the Discord, I actually figured out a way to beat this deck, surprisingly. You have to basically just play the BT9 game. You have to hide in Raising. So the best decks, honestly, to take this down that can hurt Tamers will be specifically, surprisingly, Machine can do it because it has Mega Dramon and it has Congo. We have Bloomlord because it can suspend everything and make it so they can't unsuspend, so they have to play a new... They basically have to play a new Tommy to basically do anything, or any new Tamer. Then we also have Alter S, surprisingly, because Alter S doesn't really do anything until it comes out of Raising, and once it does, you basically lose at that point. I know this for a fact because both me and my friend play Alter S, and we know that once we push up from Raising, we basically win. Aside from that, we also technically Hunters could kind of do something, but at the same time, it's super dead in the water if it leaves a guy out, especially Superior Mode, because you just strip all those sources and just bounce that back to hand. Royal Knight also, surprisingly, after figuring this out, I realized Tommy with Sorai basically kills Royal Knight completely. Because even if they summon everything out, like they do the Omnimon play to summon out 5 Royal Knights, if they hit a fucking Sorai or a Tommy, they're basically fucked. I know Tommy doesn't freeze them, but if they hit a Sorai, they're basically screwed because then they get past turn and then they go, oh my god, let me just go off with a training card and let me bounce every single freaking card or stun it into the ground. Because as most people don't know, the new RB01, Rising Wind support, gave us a level 6 that allows us to not only stun, but also bottom deck stuff that has no sources. So we basically can screw over Royal Knights or anything that doesn't have sources. So basically, you're going to have to work around that and just kind of like keep your guy in raising most of the time. So it's going to turn into a stack format again to counter Tommy. Because without that, you're basically just giving them free fodder to just go off. So yeah. Aside from that, oh yeah, also Black War Greymon X is gonna be making a huge comeback now. Like it didn't leave the format. A lot of the people on the Discord that I talk about this, we pointed out that they never left the format. It's just they were just there hanging out. Now Black War Greymon X, I'm gonna predict, is gonna see more play because we need Tamer Hate at this point because we need it to kill their board. Hades Force is going to be much more prevalent now to delete Tommy because Tommy is going to screw a lot of things up and it's gonna warp a lot of things. Because with all the blue support that we have now, it's going to make this deck even more broken. Honestly, like, all you need to do is just take all the stuff, like, from Blue Flare, like the Howlings, the Sorais, just everything like that, and just put it into this deck, and you basically win every time. Because you're just going to stun them into the ground, and they can't do anything. And, of course, being a hybrid, you're much faster. And you don't have to deal with, like, evolving and raising or whatever. You just go. Like, the only time you ever use raising, or the raising, is specifically for like, was it Madoki Betamon and Shukomon, because they're basically your floodgate stunners. So you run, like, 4 of those, you run, like, the Searcher, like, Strabimon, and then you're, or Bokomon, then you're basically free and clear. You don't even care. Yeah. So yeah, crazy-ass ban list. Yeah, seriously, this is a crazy-ass ban list. I don't, like, I understand why this was taken off the list. It was specifically, like, all of these hits were specifically, like, if you look at them. Sorry, telemarketers calling my place continuously. But yeah, so I can totally understand why they hit a lot of these cards. Okay, so I can see, I understand the purples. I genuinely do. I really do. They are broken cards, and they've been broken cards since they came out. And they're now hitting them. Understandable. Geogray, I don't understand, because the main problem was Marcus. They even say that it allowed Marcus to go off faster. Just hit Marcus, hit the BT12 one, and the deck is fine. Then it had, like, it has a much harder time, but at the same time, it still has the other Marcuses to go off, at least, and it would still have 4 Geograys to help things go off. So that's fine. I don't mind that. And then Mach Galgamon just, this is like the weirdest hit, honestly, because I only have 1 copy of this card anyway, so it's not even going to fucking matter for me. I genuinely don't care because I run the other ones actually more than this one, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it doesn't do anything to Mirage, and with the new trainings, Mirage is going to get even more broken. And then, yeah, Scatter Mode, just, yeah, I can understand it, I totally do, but lifting the ban on a card that literally nobody uses anymore and is already outdated by the 2 other versions of it, yeah, I don't get that. And then Tommy, yeah, I'm just predicting that they're going to have to put out another emergency list. If this card starts going off, it's going to be bad, like, genuinely, because source stripping was really annoying. Like, the fact that this card allowed a deck to become almost tier 0, yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, but whatever, I'm gonna still play this deck for fun just in case, because source stripping is still really stupid and really funny, and stunning your opponent into the ground is still very funny, so I'm still gonna play it regardless, and obviously I'm gonna make a new list for it too, so we'll see. But for now, look forward to a warped format. That's the best thing I can honestly say to everybody. Just expect a super warped format. Anyway, as usual, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this ban list, honestly, because it's the dumbest. Like, some of the list is fine. I'm gonna say it's a bad list. It's a very bad list. It's not a horrible list. Actually, if it ends up screwing the format, then yeah. But for now, we'll just call it a bad list, and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys next time.